If you're getting 100 views on a video you spent 20 hours creating while watching other creators blow up with content that seems thrown together, this video will finally explain what's actually happening. The YouTube algorithm has fundamentally changed, and most creators are still playing by 2022 rules in a 2025-26 game. I'm going to show you exactly what's different and give you the new framework that's actually working for small creators who are building real momentum right now. In this video, you'll learn why your current YouTube strategy is fighting an uphill battle, how the algorithm actually treats small channels in 2025, and the new framework that's helping creators build real momentum despite increased competition. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to position yourself as the algorithm's favorite type of small creator, the one it promotes consistently instead of randomly. Also, just real quick, I want to let you know that I've just launched my 12-week program that walks you through everything we're covering today and more. The link's in the description if you want to check it out. I'll also talk about it more after I've given you some value. Here's what most creators don't realize. Much of the advice you're following is based on what worked years ago, when YouTube was a completely different platform. That advice might have been perfect at the time, but it's from a snapshot of the past. The context has changed completely. Search on YouTube is basically dead now. Not completely useless, but it used to be about 30% of how people found videos, and now it's hardly 5%. Your priorities need to shift completely. You don't get views anymore by hoping someone searches for your exact topic. You get views by having your video magically show up in front of someone's face while they're browsing for something to watch. Think about your own behavior. When's the last time that you actually searched for something on YouTube? Most of your watching happens from your homepage, your subscription feed, or the suggested videos next to what you're already watching. That's where the game is played now. Let me put this into perspective for you. When your video shows up in someone's suggested feed or homepage, you're sitting right next to all of their favorite creators. People they've been watching for years, channels with millions of subscribers, professional production teams, and you have to be the better choice for them. Your thumbnail has to stop someone mid-scroll better than some polished thumbnail from a 1 million subscriber channel right next to it. Your title has to create more curiosity than the creator they've loved for 5 years. That's the game now. But here's what's making it even harder. AI is flooding every niche with content at an alarming rate. The amount of content on this platform is going to triple in the next 5 years. If you're still doing tutorials or just sharing information, you're being replaced. Right now, I can pull up my phone, talk to it like it's a friend, and get a solution specific to my exact situation at 4 in the morning. Knowledge isn't scarce anymore. Information isn't valuable just because it exists. So how do you stand out when knowledge isn't scarce anymore? That's what we need to figure out. Here's what's actually happening with your videos, and this might explain everything you've been experiencing. The algorithm is struggling to keep up. With all of this new content flooding the platform, it can't pay attention to every single video you upload. Here's the pattern I'm seeing with small channels. The algorithm can't watch all your videos, so it runs experiments. Every once in a while, you'll get way more impressions than normal. Maybe your video that usually gets 50 views suddenly gets 500 or 1,000, and then things flatline again. This isn't random. This is the algorithm that just ran an experiment on your content. It's learning what it can from that test, but then it runs away for a while to process that data. Sometime later, maybe 3 or 4 videos later, it shows back up to try again. The last time it gave you 1,000 impressions, maybe this time it tries 2,000. But here's the critical part. When it comes back, it needs to see the same pattern. If your first video was about gaming, and the next one it tests is about cooking, it gets confused. It doesn't know what to do with you. This is why consistency matters more than ever. Not just upload consistency, but content consistency. Each time the algorithm shows up to run an experiment, you need to be building on what it learned from the last video. If you don't, then it's starting over each time. You'll never build momentum. Your goal is to train the algorithm on exactly who your content is for. Speaking of training the algorithm, if you could take a moment to hit the like button for me, it'll help train the algorithm to find more people like you. Thanks. Now that you understand how the algorithm treats small channels, let's talk about what it actually cares about. The algorithm prioritizes retention over almost everything else now. Look at how YouTube's new A/B testing works. It's based on retention, not click-through rate. But to send all the right signals to the algorithm, you need people to make it to the end of your video. So let's reverse engineer how that happens. Everything starts with your thumbnail. If your thumbnail doesn't stop someone in their tracks at a glance, they bounce. They never read your title. If your thumbnail catches their attention, but your title doesn't seal the deal and build a curiosity gap that they want filled, they bounce. If they commit to giving your video a chance, but your hook doesn't confirm that they'll get what they came for, they bounce within 30 seconds. If they make it past 30 seconds, but you don't start delivering on your promise, they bounce. It's a cascade. Each piece has to work well enough to get them to the next piece. This is my philosophy. You don't need each piece to be perfect. You just need each piece to be good enough that people don't immediately dismiss you as not belonging. Your thumbnail doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to not look like it was made by someone who doesn't understand YouTube. Your title doesn't need to be the most clever thing ever written. It just needs to create enough curiosity that someone thinks, okay, I'll give this a try. Your hook doesn't need to be incredibly polished. It just needs to confirm that yes, they're going to get exactly what you promised, maybe even more. Do this long enough with consistent content and you'll build up enough momentum to reach what I call escape velocity. The algorithm will start to understand who you serve and promote you more regularly. By the way, if you're realizing that your retention needs work, but you don't know where to start, that's one of the core things that we're going to focus on in my 12-week program. More details at the end, but there's still a link in the description. Now let's talk about the reality of what this actually feels like. You're going to create videos that flop. You're going to spend 20 hours on something that gets 40 views while your throwaway video gets 400. Those algorithm experiments I had mentioned earlier, the waiting period between them can be weeks, sometimes months. And that's the hardest part, the waiting. Not knowing if you're doing something wrong or if the algorithm just hasn't come back to test you again yet. I call this the valley of death, where you're not getting clear signals if what you're doing is working. The key is using those waiting periods productively. Instead of constantly checking your analytics and driving yourself crazy, use the time to create more content and study what's working. Look at your failed videos systematically. Don't just dismiss them. What did you promise in the title and thumbnail? Did you deliver it in the first 30 seconds? Did you maintain that promise throughout? Most creators quit during the waiting periods. They think silence means failure, but silence might just mean that the algorithm is processing what it learned from your last experiment. So how do you become the type of small creator that the algorithm actually promotes consistently instead of randomly? It comes down to 3 things working together: predictable audience, consistent value delivery, and retention optimization. First, predictable audience. The algorithm loves creators who serve the same type of person consistently. When it runs those experiments, it gets clear data. It knows exactly who to show your content to because you've trained it. Second, consistent value delivery. Not just uploading consistently, but delivering the same type of value each time. Whether that's entertainment, education, or inspiration, pick one and own it. The algorithm needs to categorize you clearly. Third, retention optimization. Clicks are important. They're the first piece of the chain, but don't forget they're part of a bigger puzzle. The algorithm doesn't just want people to click, it wants them to stay on the platform. If your video keeps people watching YouTube longer, you become valuable to them. Here's a framework small successful creators are using. They pick one specific type of person and solve one specific type of problem and optimize every piece of content for maximum completion rate. When you do this consistently for 20 or 30 videos, something magical happens. The algorithm stops seeing you as a random experiment. It starts seeing you as a reliable source of engagement for a specific audience. That's when you reach escape velocity. That's when the random spikes become consistent growth. The framework I've given you today isn't about gaming the system. It's about working with how the system actually operates in 2025. Consistent content for consistent audiences optimized for retention, with realistic expectations about timing. Okay, I mentioned my 12-week program earlier, and I want to tell you about it because it directly addresses everything we've just discussed. This is a complete system covering strategy, tactics, and mindset through weekly sessions. We dive into everything from thumbnails to retention psychology, everything you need to stop spinning your wheels and start seeing real growth. You get direct access to me and our private community for the full 12 weeks. I'm spending all of my free time in that community, answering questions, giving feedback on your thumbnails, reviewing your analytics, and helping you troubleshoot roadblocks in real time. Plus, guaranteed office hours every Thursday and Sunday, at least 90 minutes each time, where I'm live and available, and you can get immediate feedback instead of spending months trying to figure out why your retention drops at the 2-minute mark. Your chance to join ends September 18th, which means if you're watching this when it first comes out, you only have a little time left to decide. I made the website myself, and you can find all the details there. The investment is $17.50 USD, and you can split that into payments if that works better for you. Link in the description. You'll give me your email, I'll send you a link for a quick video chat so I can meet you and then make sure that we're a good fit, and then we get started. But you need to act fast if this sounds like something that you want to do. We've just explored how YouTube's new algorithm works and the framework you need to succeed with it, but here's the brutal truth. You're still going to fail sometimes. Your next video might flop, and then the one after that might too. The difference between creators who make it and those who quit isn't talent or luck, it's one specific skill. Click on this video next, where I reveal the only skill you actually need to succeed on YouTube, so you can build the mental resilience that separates winners from quitters in this game. The game has changed. That doesn't mean you can't win. You just need to understand the new rules and play accordingly. I'll see you in that video.